Shalom Chavrim, I'm Stephen Bernard. You're watching Israeli News Live. In a world of Ein Shalom, there just is no peace, and we're certainly not seeing that over in Syria today. As we're watching the things this morning, earlier this morning, the fighting that is already going on. Turkey has started their air bombardment campaign there. You can see in this video footage right here, dropping bombs all over northern Syria, as if Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria, really needed the war to reignite in his country. But there's just no let-up. There's just none. And the President of the United States, although we had a very small, I'm talking about a very small force in northern Syria, decided to pull out at this time, at a critical time when the Kurdish people, who have always been some of the best fighters against ISIS in the Middle East, has chosen to pull out. Russia has turned their back on the Kurds in the past. Russia has also warned that the United States would once again do this. They would turn their back on the Kurds, and yes, they're doing it once again. It just seems like Turkey, because they're a NATO ally, they can just do whatever they want. You know, the president, though, I mean, he does speak about, oh, again, let's see, where was it there? I got a little headline here. Yeah, a bad idea. Trump criticizes Turkish offensive in Syria. You think Erdogan cares about his criticism? No, he doesn't care. Erdogan fully knows that the president was going to pull out. That's why he was able to be prepared for the offensive. Isn't it interesting that it doesn't take weeks or months for the Turkish government to move its forces there and play along the northern border of Syria? They were already ready. They were already in line. Their planes were already loaded with the bombs to be able to attack the Kurds there in northern Syria. As our intelligence source there from the Middle East said to us in information disclosing what was going on, this was a message that was being sent by the President of the United States to the Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, for his rejecting the United States and turning over to Iran and Syria to try to smooth out the differences between these two nations. Of course, as we were told, the Prince Salman realized that the United States would not have its back in the event that it's Iran or even Turkey, its enemies, were to attack it. So they decided to reach out at least to Iran and Syria to try to patch up the differences between them. So the president has now allowed the Turkish forces to move into Syria, and again, it is annihilating people. But don't worry, the president has plenty of words that just appeal to the American people. Well, we shouldn't have been here in the first place. And of course, the Democrats are blamed for everything, even though it was President George H.W. Bush, excuse me, President Bush, not George H.W., that was his father. Well, he got us into it as well, but it was really his son, President Bush, that got us into this war on this whole idea that Al-Qaeda was the one that attacked the United States when the Twin Towers were struck. The evidence clearly points to the Mossad Secret Service of Israel and the United States CIA that was behind the downing of the Twin Towers, and yet to blame it on the Saudis in return. And not to mention, think about it. The President of the United States makes the deal of the century with the very nation that supposedly brought down the Twin Towers, but everybody just cheers him on. Hey, President Trump, you're doing a great job. Angels are coming down out of the White House and stuff like that. I do not believe that for even a moment. You know, I'm going to really begin to break these things down. We've got to wake up. I mean, when did Christians get so blinded? When did we ever get so blinded? It's just like for me, I had to wake up. I'm Jewish. I mean, both my parents were Jews. I had to wake up that those that are running the nation of Israel do not even care about the Jewish people. I had to get a wake-up call to recognize that the Holocaust, where I have many family members that died in the Holocaust, was helped along by Zionists in the first place. I had to recognize that the German dictator Adolf Hitler was doing the transfer agreement, giving all the wealth to the Zionist Jews to go start the state of Palestine with the Rothschilds. At the same time, they did not want to take the poor, the feeble, the elderly, only the young and the well capable establishing the nation. I had to wake up to these things. I had to wake up to the Prime Minister Netanyahu, although Mike Evans laid his hands on him and anointed him with oil, that this was a fabrication to get the Christian people behind the state of Israel, while he sits there and passes 9-month abortion bills and allows the gay parades to march through the streets of Jerusalem. It's not to say that God can't save somebody, okay? But the point being is we are pouring out support like never before for an agenda and backing an agenda and moving a new world order so rapidly along. It is unbelievable what I'm seeing. And now Christians are willing to support sacrifices in Jerusalem. I mean, how much more do we have to cheer along this false propaganda? I have no idea. But anyway, so the Turkish government is in full swing. Turkey bombs Syria. Erdogan begins Operation, what he calls Peace Spring. I guess he's learning some of the techniques here in America. Make it sound like a peaceful thing you're doing. We're just getting rid of the terrorist. You know, it's funny, as I said before, George Bush said it was Al-Qaeda that took down the Twin Towers, yet and Al-Qaeda was allegedly all these terrorists came from Saudi Arabia, but yet we sell more bombs and bullets and everything you could imagine to Saudi Arabia than any other nation under the planet. Yes, President Trump is also the one that made that deal. That's to help keep America great again, right? So we go bomb all these little Yemenis children. I don't get it. I really don't, friends. Something's majorly wrong. What Donald Trump's decision to abandon the Kurdish fighters in Syria means for the Kurds, Assad, and Russia. Article states here, in a move likely to further destabilize the situation in Syria and the Middle East, Donald Trump appeared to give Turkey the green light on October 6 for a military operation in northern Syria. The area is currently controlled by the Syrian Democratic Forces, led by the Kurdish People's Protection Unit for the YPG, and the U.S. worked closely with the battle to defeat Islamic State. Kurdish forces described Trump's decision to pull U.S. troops out of the area as a stab in the back. Of course, now Trump makes it look great. We shouldn't have been there in the first place. Well, the Republicans put us there in the first place. I'm a Republican, but you think I like the whole idea of what he did? But you know what? Just like many of you guys, I also believed at the time that Al-Qaeda had attacked our nation, and we had to go do something about it. Now, the funny thing was, even then they knew that it was the Saudis that were involved in it, but they used the Saudi air bases to go bomb Iraq. I mean, shouldn't we have realized something at that point there? The Saudis are guilty of sending their guys over here to blow us up, but after all, it's Iraq that's really the guilty party there. Saudis, can we use your air base to blow up the Iraqis? Then General Wesley Clark tells you they're going to take down 7 nations. And five, I've got to get it backwards, 5 nations in 7 years, or 7 nations in 5 years, and everything's right on course. I'm dumbfounded by it. I really am. I begin to wonder, am I just that stupid, or are we all just that stupid? I don't know what to think about it. At any rate, another issue that happens here. Germany reports 1 person detained after shooting outside of a German synagogue left 2 people dead. Police have confirmed 1 person has been detained after a shooting at which left 2 people dead and others injured. A grenade also was thrown into the Jewish cemetery. A picture of the alleged shooter has appeared on social media but cannot be verified yet. Isn't it interesting? Look, I always find it interesting when, and I haven't seen this picture yet myself, but let me try to make this bigger for you guys so you can see this as well. Anytime we get these shootings and all these alleged people being killed, I find it interesting when you can't identify the shooter and they're in total black camo, or not camo, but black face mask, helmet, assault style rifles, totally unidentifiable. Not to say they didn't really kill people. But what will happen? Kind of reminds me of things that have gone on here in the United States, these shootings where we find out later that the shooters are dressed like this guy right here. Yeah, look at there. What do you know? Anyway, besides watching this video here live, don't forget you can also watch this broadcast on our new channel, Fact News Network. It will air over there as well. And we'll be doing, this coming weekend, we'll be also doing another Stephen Yana chat. And just a lot of things to cover. There's a lot of things, too, biblically that are happening. And we've gone through the Feast of Trumpets here, Yom Kippur, just ending, I believe it was yesterday. And I know I have said to the people, a lot of people want me to speak about the feast, how Christ actually fulfilled those feasts. And at the same time, I am just continuing digging and researching through the Qumran scrolls because of having so much access to this information now. It's taken me a long time to get the access that I really wanted to be able to get to that. And I'm discovering a lot of things. And so there's so much that I want to share with you, talk to you about. And at the same time, we also know here on Israeli News Live, please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure you're subscribed, because they are removing people from our channel. We are being shadow banned everywhere. Israeli News Live on Facebook. If you go to Facebook and you look up Israeli News Live, we used to be one of the most watched channels out there. And they're shadow banning us there as well. In fact, Facebook shut me down several times, trying to keep me from being able to be noticed because we were gaining so much momentum on our Facebook page there. And all we actually do is just share news clips, things like that. We'll share our videos here. I don't really get into opinionated issues, but because of the fact that we're sharing truthful information with the world, they decided to try to slow that down where you just don't see it. But anyway, check out that page as well. And anyway, so much going on. Anyway, blessings to all of you. Thank you for your support of this broadcast. Truly, we can't do it without you. We are sending out by mail our letters. If you've emailed me in your address as well, if you don't get it as of yet, I'm still processing those addresses. When you make it available for people to be able to send their addresses, then you get a lot of people sending you their address as well. And I've been trying to deal with the addresses we already have on file to get them put into this database. And it's a lot of addresses, and it takes a lot of money to send out that type of mailing list there. It's not huge because I've never done it. I don't do like most ministries do. They get all your information and then just inundate you with a bunch of garbage and support of, oh, support this, make sure you send us a Feast of Trumpet offering or something like that, or sow a seed into the ministry and God will bless you, a millionaire or something. No, I don't do that. I never have. I don't like it. I think it's totally wrong to do. I believe that, God knows your needs in life, and if you believe, God will take care of what you have need of. And it's the same thing with this ministry here. God knows the need that we have, and He's always met the need. There's times where we feel like, oh wow, it doesn't look like it's going to happen, but it always happens by the grace of God, because God places it on your heart. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen two people that would write and say, God just led me to do this, to bless your ministry. I've never given before, but I feel like that this is a time of need, and it truly is. So thank you, and thank you for what you do. You can, of course, our address won't appear on the bottom of the screen because we're doing a live broadcast right now, but it is in the description of this video, as well as our website, IsraeliNewsLive.org. Blessings to you. Thank you for watching, and shalom. In a world of Ein Shalom, there just is no peace, friends.